everyone. Welcome to Listeners Beware, episode number 26. I'm Gary.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are talking about book number 25.
Attack of the Mutant.
Yes. One that you should read at your own risk. Skipper Matthews has an awesome comic book collection. His favorite one is called The Masked Mutant. It's about an evil supervillain who's out to rule the universe. Skipper... That was an exclamation point.
I felt the excitement there.
I think I put more of a question mark, but yeah. Skipper can't get enough of the mutant until one day he gets lost in a strange part of town and finds a building that looks exactly like the mutants' secret headquarters. A building that appears and disappears. Has Skipper read one too many comic books, or does the Masked Mutant really live in Riverview Falls?
Dun, 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 dun.
To be determined.
Yeah, he's no superhero. He's a super villain.
Yes.
So this is a pretty quick read. It's 117 pages. It was released November of 1994. So fun little like back to school book kind of thing, settling into fall. That's about most of the positive I have to say about this. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this one's very meta, right? It's about a book within a book, or a comic book within a book.
It's very meta.
I feel like that's where they were like able to finally use read at your own risk as the blurb.
I mean, for sure. However, nothing about this book, and I'm just going to start out the gate saying this, nothing about it felt goosebumps.
No. No.
This felt like a filler, honestly.
It did.
It felt like a screw it, I'm bored, and I have to churn out another book to meet my monthly deadline. So let's have fun with this. Sure, why not? Comics. Kids like comics, right?
Yeah, I mean, clearly RL doesn't really read them, but kids like them. Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't really know how to talk about this one because so much happens, but like I feel like everything I have to say about it involves sort of a spoiler aspect to it.
So let's talk about the protagonist. His name is Skipper Matthews. Now, I don't remember the 90s actually knowing a kid named Skipper. I really don't. However, it was used in so many books and movies. Like, who decided this is the trendy name of the 90s?
Right?
Because it was.
Yeah, the parents grew up watching Gilligan's Island, I guess, and maybe they just... well, we can't call him Gilligan. Let's call him Skipper.
They're like, surely there's a bunch of kids running around there named Skipper, right? But like, do you recall meeting anybody named Skipper?
No, I never knew a Skipper. I think I knew a Skip, but not a full Skipper.
Look here. I'm going to be 40 this year. That's right, listeners. I am gloriously going to hit my fabulous 40s this year. And in all of my 40 years, I have never met a person named Skipper. And I've been a lot of places and met a lot of people. I've never met someone named Skipper in my life.
Know what? Let's put that on our 2025 bucket list. Let's find a Skipper and meet them.
No, I have met a Skip, but guess what? That wasn't until last year that I met a Skip. And that was the infamous Skip Stelrecht. And like, what are the odds? But in general, nope, never met a Skipper.
Interesting.
I've never even met someone nicknamed Skipper.
No, I've never thought about this. But wow, you're right though. That name was everywhere in the 90s. It was very common.
Very pop culture, but in reality, I'm really not sure that was like a thing.
Yeah.
So.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah. I don't know. That just, I paused when he was describing Skipper and gave him his name. I'm just like, that's what we went with. Like, you really were just going with what's popular right now. Comics, Skipper, supervillains.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Why not? He was just throwing darts at a board. What's popular and let's put it together. It's like one of those, what were the fortune cookie things where you like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You just like open your fingers and close them and have different things you open up to tell the future. I feel like that's what he was doing. He wrote a bunch of things on that and was just like opening, closing, lifting a, little flap of the paper. Ah, supervillains. Ah, Skipper. I don't know.
Yep. The parents are going to be married with 2 kids named Skipper and whatever.
Whatever.
The other one.
Whatever. I love that.
Amelia?
And, you know, it's
Libby.
clear.
No?
Yeah, Libby. Libby was the friend.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. There was a sister.
Yeah, Mitzi.
Mitzi.
That's like a dog name,
Right.
by the way.
So is
Like
Skip.
that was a common dog name in the 90s was Mitzi, but apparently he gave it to the sister, which I'm kind of wondering. It was like a bratty little sister. Was that what he was going for? Like a barky little dog
Right.
is typically named Mitzi. So I was like, yeah, it's an
Yeah.
annoying little sister, barky little dog. It works, Mitzi.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, it did. I mean, it evoked, if that's what he was going for, it evoked annoying. Because all I could think of was like a small, yappy little dog that like nips at your heels.
Yep.
So
Yeah, for sure.
effective.
Effective.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Word of the episode, effective. Now, it's clear, RL, and this is going to be the nerd slippage in me, but it's clear RL is not a comic guy, or at least not at that point in time when he wrote this, because the first thing, you know, we find out is this Skipper Matthews is obsessed with comic books. He has a subscription, he reads them all day, and he should know. He should
Yeah.
know a thing or two about comics. Like, he is arrogant enough to like chastise Libby about her comic book choices. So, which, you know, that fits. You think
Mhm.
about the comic book people we know, and it's like, that
Yeah.
tracks.
Yep.
Much love to all my comic book people, but there's a few of you.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Tangential Ashley. But like, it's clear Skipper has this idea of elitism and like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a connoisseur of comics. He's a comic connoisseur.
Comic connoisseur.
So a comic connoisseur should know that the images in a comic book are not called drawings. Well, you know, the scene drawings or whatever RL referred to them as. And I'm like, panels?
Panels, yeah.
The panels?
Yeah. Even if you want to go super vague and just call it art.
The art.
But
like,
drawings?
Yeah, like when he chose to call it, you know, the scene drawings or whatever it was, I'm like, the panels? He's
Yeah.
like absorbing all of the drawings, literally. And just, you know, the way he kept calling them, it's like, panels, buddy. Panels. Come on.
Yeah. It's anytime like someone 30 years past the time frame is trying to refer to anything. It's just it's cute, but it's wrong.
It's like adorable.
Yeah.
But no. That's when he should have called Tim Jacobus, because probably Tim would have known. Here's the words to use, the nomenclature that you really want to utilize when you're writing about comics. But
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I guess he was assuming most kids at that age weren't familiar enough. But it's like, even kids can be obnoxious. Have you met know-it-all 12-year-olds? Like, they can be obnoxious about that shit. So,
Yeah.
like, tisk tisk. Strike one.
Right. So he's got, I mean, like in typical 90s kid fashion, his dad is very anti-comic books because they are rotting his brain or whatever 90s dad wants to say.
90s dad.
Until we get to the episode where it's 60s dad from the 90s.
Right? I mean, you know, 90s dad is like you're rotting your brain, you're not focusing on school. And I mean, that translates and moves along with the decades, because nowadays it's video games, you're going to rot your brains.
Yep.
Back then it was comic books. Although, hindsight, I mean, how popular were comics at that age? I think about that, and it's like they're so accessible nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, I loved like comics, but they weren't easy to get your hands on.
Yeah, you had to go to specialty shops, or I mean, you might find some in the grocery store, but like I had a local place called Daddy Jim's, which
That sounds like a naughty shop.
it does, right? But that's where I would go get my comics and other things. No,
And other things.
but yeah, like that was where I went and got my comics as a kid. But the thing is, I was more of a Libby than a Skipper, right? Like I was reading like Disney comics or Archie comics or whatever. Like I wasn't into the superhero stuff as much, which is weird because I watched a ton of superhero stuff on TV. But
See, I absolutely read the comics that were in the like little digests. So
yes,
Archie,
yeah,
loved Archie. Anything that was accessible that way, or even like this the newspaper comics, the
hmm,
Saturday, or Sunday morning comics, whatever they were. Like I
yeah,
loved that. I lived for those. And it was a thing that I really enjoyed. But in terms of the actual comic books that he was reading, like the full books, which obviously, given what RL described, they were quick reads, right? Like he was
right,
getting through that pretty quickly, a very small segment being covered in his comic books. And I mean, I don't know what the timeline was, but it seemed like he was getting one a week.
right,
And it's just like, damn, this RL, but in the meta world.
right.
Just- Especially back then, comics weren't released that quickly, but all
Yeah,
right.
it is crazy. To kind of put ourselves back in the mentality of that time frame and like what was popular in 94. I don't know. It's fascinating.
X-Men.
The X-Men for sure. Uh,
X-Men and Batman and
Spider-Man.
who was the big comic book person back then? It wasn't Dark Horse, right? Who was it?
Well, Dark
Uh,
Horse was big.
Back then, I can't remember.
I think so. That may have been more like mid 90s.
So, we've gone on a big tangent about
Yeah.
comics, which by the way I love. I grew up on X-Men comics.
Hmm.
Ha, nerd. But I am one. It's fine.
Right.
Back when it
Same.
wasn't cool, now it's cool. But back then, that's why I was curious that he chose this world because back then, if you read comics, you kind of were a nerd.
Hmm.
And it's funny because given his propensity to really go into bullying, that would have been prime for a bullying world, right? But he veered
Right.
left. There was no bullying
That's
when it
true.
came to Skipper reading comics and being obsessed with comics, right? Like there was
Wow.
zero bullying.
His dad was sort of the only bully, but like for the right reasons, I guess.
Yeah, even then he's like, "You're not focused on your schoolwork, you're failing. I need you to
Hmm.
refocus." And
Right.
it wasn't even like, "Nerd." But again, given like we've got 24 books under our belt where like he really goes in on the bullying in
Hmm.
some form, and this would be prime for that. He's like, "I'm not going to give you the cliche."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a thing because I mean, back in the 90s, if you read comics, even in the like 2000, early 2000s, comics weren't cool until recently
That's true.
when Marvel became a big deal and Comic Con became a big deal. Prior to
Hmm.
that, you were a flippin' nerd if you liked comics. So, and you were not a nerd in a good way. Now, nerds and geeks are awesome.
Hmm. We have
That's
inherited the
fairly
earth.
recent. We have arrived. I mean, I was always there, but now at least I'm
Yeah.
not going to get teased for it.
Right. 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 I was always sort of like a shamed nerd. But now I'm a proud nerd. Um,
Yeah, you were ashamed. Oh,
a little bit.
sad times. I
Yeah.
mean, given that I loved X-Men, and it's funny because I lived for the relationship between Gambit and Rogue. I loved Gambit.
Hmm.
And, again, people are like, that's silly, that's stupid. And now who do people like
It's true.
worship their love story? They're like Gambit and Rogue. And I'm like, yeah, have you read Mr. and Mrs. X? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, see, posers. So
Right.
it's interesting how tables turn and tides change.
Y'all baby fans.
You right? But we embrace you.
Yeah,
Welcome.
of course.
Welcome
Of
to the
course.
dark side. We have pie.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that joke, go back. Go back to the other side.
That's right.
So
Oh, the book.
we have Skipper, and he has an orthodontist appointment. He gets on the
Hmm.
bus, meets girl Libby. He's shocked that she's into comics because even if they're comics that he detests, because girls aren't into comics. And
Right.
so he's like, whoa, I think I love you and I hate you all at the same time. Which, get used to it, bro. That's just relationships. So he gets so caught up in the conversation that he misses his bus stop. And when he gets off of the bus, what does he see? But a very big, bright pink, oddly shaped building, which,
Yes.
when you read the synopsis, it's like, oh, he finds the headquarters. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, any building could be the headquarters. But this is a very distinct building.
Hmm.
How often do you see bright, pink, skinny, tall buildings?
I mean, at the beach a lot, but outside of that,
I don't think he's at the beach.
no, I don't think so. He's
I
at the
think most of
falls.
RL's books take place in the like Midwest,
Right. Just Ghost Beach.
right? Oh, I like that book.
Yes.
So he misses his stop, gets off the bus, sees the building, and he's like, "Oh my god, that looks exactly like the Masked Mutants headquarters." And of course, he can't be late for his appointment, so he has to unfortunately run back to the bus. But he's definitely like, noted.
Yeah.
So a week elapses and he goes back because he's just like, I have to figure out what that is. And I relate. I feel like if I saw something like that, I probably wouldn't have waited a week,
hmm
but
Yeah, right.
he does. And so he takes the bus and he's like, "Man, I don't remember how I got lost last time. Will I be able to find the stop?" But he does. He's able to because he recognizes like a playground or a park or something that
Right.
he had noticed, and good on him. He's
hmm
aware of his surroundings, so he was able to find a familiar landmark. That's way to go, little 12-year-old, because 12-year-old me, that wouldn't have happened. I would have gotten so lost. I still
Right.
get lost. I'm a little bit better direction oriented since I like hike more and I don't want to get lost in the mountains and eaten by bears. But
Right. Right. Always a good goal.
as a 12-year-old, I would have been lost. I would have been in like 3 cities over, like, help, like Stitch, help, I'm lost.
Yeah. Oh, I am at the beach now.
Right? I am now at the Ghost Beach. How many cities apart do you think they are?
Ooh, I don't know. That would be fun to do like a U.S. map and like map out all the different cities in Goosebumps books.
Oh my gosh, we should do that.
In
That would
case
be
you were wondering if we are still nerds. Case in point.
Yeah, we get excited about this. So he finds the spot, gets off the bus, doesn't see the building, and he just sees an empty lot, and eventually he goes home. But what's interesting about that is, how does a building vanish within a week?
Right?
Because you could say, okay, it was demolished, but you would see evidence of a
Mhm.
demolished building. Like there would be evidence of it in some way. And he's like, nope, just an empty flat lot. Like,
Yeah.
there's something weird happening.
Mm-hmm. I think that Libby girl slipped me some acid.
It is the 90s. So, Skipper took acid, building's gone. He goes home like, well, I guess maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And, backtrack for a moment. When he sees the building, he does ask Libby if like she recognizes it. And she's just like, yeah, I mean, I think we've seen it before. Yeah, it's been around, but I don't remember because it wasn't always there. And so she seems even a little bit like thrown off by it, but not much. She's kind of just shrugs things off. She's
Yeah.
like, well, come over and see my comics. Like, never trust a big button to smile, according to Belle Biv DeVoe. But he does go home to find, again, this is a week has elapsed. So he finds a new edition of his comic has been delivered, which I think he is surprised by it, right? Like, he's like, oh, it must be a special edition.
Yeah, he did say that, yeah.
Yeah, to come out so soon. So he does acknowledge it's a little rare that there would be another one so quickly. But he opens it, reads the story, and he's like, what? The building's invisible? It's being hidden by an invisibility curtain? Could that be what's going on? And he's like, it must be. It must be matching what the comic is, which good on him, because I feel like I would have gone there too if something disappeared so close, so big and so vibrant was just gone overnight. And then I read a comic.
Yeah.
Some might say, wow, he reached fast. But for me, at 12, I probably, okay, at this age, I would still be like, what's happening?
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, logic would dictate something's amiss. When a giant pink building is there sometimes, but not all the time.
And again, no sign of demolishing going on. It just gone within a week. Like, there's no bricks out of place. There's no like sign of an explosion, an implosion. It just gone. Poof.
Right. That would be one of those moments where I'm like, wait, did I just dream all this?
Did Libby give me acid?
Yeah. Well, obviously, but she.
I told you, never trust a big butt in a small. She gave him poison. So Skipper eventually gets back on the bus. He runs into Libby and explains that he thinks that it's mimicking or mirroring the comic, and there's got to
Mhm.
be an invisibility curtain. And Libby's, as one would be, is like, "You're nuts."
Right.
And he baits her in, as 12-year-olds do, into going with him, even though she's like, "You're crazy." And he's like, "Just, are you scared? You scared? You're scared."
Mhm.
And she's just like, "Fine, I'll go." So they both go. They step onto the dirt lot, and immediately it's like they feel like they stepped through a curtain,
Yep.
and
There
there's
it
the
is.
building.
In all its giant pink glory.
Yeah. And they do what I don't feel like I would have done at 12. They just walk in.
Right. Just straight
Like,
up B&E, no big deal.
right? Like they just walk in, it's empty, it's well lit,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Yeah, let's explore around." And like, don't get me wrong, I'm all about urban exploration, but you don't just go into some office
Right.
building that's lit up and like, "Hey, let's see what's going on."
Yeah, I would be much more inclined to like go into a house that was being constructed or something like that at 12 than an office building, because like there's adults in there and shit.
Yeah, there's an established building. There's
Yeah.
adults and shit. Exactly. I'm not trying to get in trouble. Your parents don't know where you are. And it's like, yeah, I
Right.
found your kid like on the other side of town entering some random building.
Hmm.
Stranger danger doesn't exist with Skipper.
Nope. Skipper's a businessman now.
So they decide, why the hell not? We're inside the building. We might as well explore some more. So they get in the elevator and they're like, let's press some buttons.
It's true.
I mean, they do. And don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. If I'm in a building that I'm supposed to be in, that I'm allowed to be in, hell yeah, I'm going to explore it. I'm going to press buttons and walk all the floors. Why not?
Right.
But you're not even supposed to be in that building. You don't even
Mm-mm.
know what this building is, really. And like, yeah, let's press all the buttons. Let's see what happens. They press for the top floor, right? But they end
Ye-
up like, it takes them, versus going up, it goes all the way down to the basement.
Yeah.
And from there, they can't go up or down. It just stays open. So they decide, because again, bad choices. They're like, well, something's not working correctly. Let's get off the elevator and roam around. Why not?
Sure.
Sure. And he's just roaming around. Libby disappears. And what does Skipper find but a whole room with drawings for the masked mutant? And he's like, oh, holy moly! I have found the headquarters for the comic book creators, which, you're seeing all these drawings, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I would think the same thing, but I'd still be wondering how the hell this building was invisible.
Right.
uh, but he's just like, wow, there's sketches of the masked mutant, and this must be where they create the comic book, and that's super exciting. And don't get me wrong, I would be very excited too if I walked
Hmm.
into a room and I saw all sorts of X-Men drawings, and it's like, oh, this is where the magic is created. This is where the magic
Yes.
happens. So, Mass Mutant is potentially, where this is being created, or at least that's what Skipper thinks. But then, that happiness is cut short because he finds drawings of himself. And he's like, wait, what?
Yeah. And I gotta say, like, up till now, I can finally insert this because it's what I wanted to say at the beginning.
Uh huh.
I was pretty on board for this book because I liked the mystery that it was surrounding, or that it was building. And up till this point, I was like, this is really cool. And as a kid, I would have really ate this up. But it was around this time where it all fell apart for me.
Yeah, I feel like the build up to this was just taking too long up until this point. I think at this point we are over halfway through the book.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, where is any of the actual action, any of the, if we're talking about story arcs, when are we going to start actually climbing the mountain of the arc?
Yeah.
Because it just felt like we hadn't even started the story and we were over halfway through.
Right.
He finds, or Libby finds him, I guess, and they decide to leave. He gets home and he finds another issue of the Master Mutant, which again would be weird because he just opened one and now we get
Right.
another. And, the comic is speaking basically directly to him, saying that, the Master Mutant has a new foe and it's showing Skipper and
Yeah.
Skipper sneaking into the headquarters. And,
Mm-hmm.
it even gives away that the Master Mutant has captured the Galloping Gazelle and he's stuck inside of headquarters. And
Right.
so Skipper's like, well, hell, I have to go save the gazelle. Hey, that rhymed. And so, because he thinks, oh my gosh, he must really be in danger. So he decides to go back and save him, which is hilarious because, like, dude, you're a kid. You have
Right.
no actual powers. And if the comic book is real, these guys actually do.
Yep.
But hey, bravado. He goes back and he takes it to the top floor. There he finds the Galloping Gazelle who's been tied to a chair. So he unties him and they leave to go find the Masked Mutant because the Galloping Gazelle is one of those, he really reminds me of Gaston, where he's like, I am the hero and I can do anything and let's go save him and come with me, child, even though you have no powers. You're in
Yeah.
danger and I don't care because I can survive anything and everything because I
Right.
am the Galloping Gazelle.
The Galloping Gaston. Yes,
The
that's a good
Galloping
comparison.
Gaston.
No one fights like Gazelle. No one.
No one stretches like Gazelle. So it just, I mean, realistically, he tells him when they go up to, which I found this scene actually kind of comedic, when they get to the
Right.
stairs and he's like, it's got laser beams and it's likely if they touch you, they're going to disintegrate you. Come on, child. You just have to make how many ever stairs he has to leap. He's like, you can do it. It's fine. It's easy. Look. And he does it. And he's like, you do it. And while he's encouraging, it's like, are you a doofus? Again, the Gaston in him is like
Yeah,
so disconnected from reality
it's
that
true.
it's like, this child is a little meatball. You really think he's gonna jump that many steps? I mean, he's described as, kind of a portly little child at the beginning.
Yes.
Like, you want this meatball to jump? He rolls, bro. He rolls. And that's not fat shaming. It's from one
No.
meatball to another.
No.
But, Skipper lands on the first step.
Yep.
Doesn't get disintegrated. And he's like, laser must have been off. You're lucky.
Right.
Let's go. Charge forward. Onward, ho. And it's like, come on, Galloping Gaston. Like, do not do this.
Right.
This is, I guess, where the climax is. This is where everything occurs because they charge into wherever the Masked Mutant's office is supposed to be. And it's like a fight ensues and Gazelle's running around him, super speed. The Masked Mutant is like, haha, sticks his foot out and trips him. Which again, great. How like very Gaston-like, right? That like Gaston's taken down so easily because he's so arrogant.
No, I thought that scene actually played relatively well in an otherwise not very interesting portion. It's like, how is there all this action and I'm kind of bored right now?
I mean, that was the humorous part because he's spinning a tornado around the Masked Mutant. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say tornado, but he's spinning like this tornado because he's so fast around the Masked Mutant. And he's like, you'll never stop me. And like the Masked Mutant is just amused by the hubris of because I was going to call him Gaston, of the Galloping Gazelle. And he just sticks his foot out and bloom. Off he trips, and I'm like, that's pretty comical.
It reminds me of the Indiana Jones thing where like the guy is swinging his swords all around and then just pulls the gun out and shoots him. Like, I love a good visual comedy bit like that.
I do too, actually. And I mean, given how slow paced and kind of, this was not a Galloping Gazelle. The pacing of this book was very, very turtle slow. It just like, in this case, you hear about the tortoise and the hare. In this case, the tortoise really was not winning.
No,
and
he was not.
He was not. And so it's just like, this was at least a nice breath of fresh air in the pace. Where it's like, okay, well, I'm having fun in this moment. And as absurd as it is, it's at least a change in pace, which is nice. And I just think it's funny how easily the Galloping Gazelle gives up. Kind of like Gaston, how very Gaston of him.
Yes.
Um, the Masked Mutant is able to turn into other things. That's part of his, because he is a mutant. He's able to mutate into other items and things and people, and so he morphs into or mutates into a leopard, and that causes the Galloping Gazelle to run away because that's one of the things he's afraid of, as a gazelle would be.
Yep.
And that just leaves, because Gaston like of him to ditch a kid with this supervillain. So like this kid's alone to square off with the Masked Mutant, and the Masked Mutant is just like, what are your superpowers, you little meatball? And Skipper's like, I'm tasty. Skipper's like, I don't have any, bro. And the villain, Masked Mutant, he's about to I think he actually picks up Skipper and he's gonna kill him. And Libby enters the room, and she's like, I'm here to save the day. And Libby pulls out a toy gun and aims it at the Masked Mutant. She's like, well, if we're in a comic, then we can make anything do what we want. Imagination. Oh, look, RL slipped in. If you believe it, it's real. I mean, perception is reality. And
It's
in
true.
this case, she pulls the trigger, it shoots out a beam, and the Masked Mutant dissolves. And it's like, oh, all is right in the world. And you think for just a moment, wow, what a happy ending to a really slow book. I was ready to be done. Yay,
Yeah.
Libby saved the day. We're done. Woo!
Wait, why are there still pages left?
Damn it.
Well.
So what do we find out, Gary?
We find out that Libby has, I guess, been the Masked Mutant all along, or at least for a little while, or something. I don't know.
So who did she shoot? The Magnificent Molecule Man.
Yes, I was trying to make sure I had his name right, because it's very important to nail the Magnificent Molecule Man. Triple M's is what I call him for short.
Triple M. M to the third power. Because he can also turn himself into anything else, because he's able to reshape his molecules, which that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, he's for some reason, they didn't really explain it, which, we don't get a lot of explanations anyways. For some reason, he's filling in as the Masked Mutant. And how very rude of the Masked Mutant. That's your homie, that's your partner in crime, and he just dissolves them. He's like, I'm done with you. Pew, pew, pew. So he learns that Libby was never real. She's always been the Masked Mutant, and he's been bored and wanting new foes. So he said, why the hell not? Let me pick on a little meatball 12-year-old. 12-year-old meatball?
Don't eat that.
Because Skipper is knowledgeable. He's been an obsessed reader. He's like, you know about my world. You'd be a great character and foe.
Right. Which is a novel concept, I guess.
Except he's 12. He's picking on a kid. A sure thing. If you want an actual new good foe, pick a 40-year-old comic book reader.
Pick on someone your own size.
Pick a 40-year-old meatball. So, and here's where the Masked Mutant went wrong. He just showed Skipper that if you believe it and you imagine it, you can make it real. Had he never said that and never shown him that, then there's no way Skipper could have defeated him.
It's true.
But in that one slip, which as supervillains do, they slip. They talk too much. They talk too damn much. He gave it away. He gave away his, just the loophole that Skipper needed to actually be victorious, or at least somewhat of a, equal foe.
Yes. So Skipper gets a grand idea. He declares that sorry, it's such a terrible name. He is the Colossal Elastic Boy. He can only be defeated by acid. Sulfuric, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So he tricks this guy who is smart enough to play this game all along into becoming
he is
acid?
created this entire world just to
Yeah.
trap this new foe.
Right.
And he tricks him so easily. I can only be defeated by this. And he's like, aha, I'm
Yep.
going to make it arrive. Yay, sulfuric acid.
I told you there was acid.
Make it so. I mean, you weren't wrong. Libby brought acid to the game.
I had actually forgotten this detail, but we'll just pretend I was right and knew that all along.
You were. It like, I never doubted you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and so I guess the mutant can only turn into solids, right? So this is what ultimately defeats him?
Yeah, because if he turns into a liquid, he's trapped in that form. So when he turns himself into acid, he can't. He can't get out of it. He's stuck as sulfuric acid.
Yep. So,
I think everything kind of starts melting, right? So he's like, I gotta get out of here.
right. Let me take the melting elevator.
Right? Because hot metal is a good idea. Hot liquid metal.
Yes. I've seen Terminator 2.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, nothing good comes of being touched by hot liquid metal. So Skipper's happy. He skips home. And he's like, yay, Mitzi, let's eat some cake. Because, I mean, that's what you do when you defeat a supervillain. You eat some cake. Like, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd eat cake anyways. Because
Mm.
meatball.
Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. So he goes to cut the cake for he and his bratty sister Mitzi, Mitzi puppy,
Mitzi
and
puppy.
accidentally cuts his hand. But he doesn't bleed blood.
He's bleeding ink.
Ooh. I'm shooketh. So he realizes he is now a comic book character. And he asks Mitzi to go get him the new comic that just came in because he suspects that his comic adventures are not done. They're just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. If I bled like bright colored ink.
Right, I know. I know. I was thinking, is it like, is like certain parts of his body like blue ink, yellow ink, and red ink, or does it just come out as black ink altogether?
That's a good question. Maybe it depends on the body part.
Yeah. Imagine like his veins are just red, yellow, and blue on the inside, like under his skin.
You know how some people you can see like their veins under specific like colored lighting? Like imagine if he walks into a room and suddenly like people are like, dude, why are you red? Why are you purple? What's happening?
Well, funny you should ask. I am the colossal elastic boy.
Okay, we haven't even talked about the TV episode. Wow, my voice got really high pitched there. So
Yeah, it did.
I know. Whoa, dogs started howling. Yeah, TV episode. I will honestly say, for me, TV episode followed the books, or the book, sorry. TV episodes, because it was 2, followed the book very well. I think it stayed pretty darn close and consistent that it's like, okay, that tracks, that matches. However, I don't think it needed to be 2 episodes, and like, I could have done without it.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Although I do think up till now it was Haunted Mask, I feel followed the book the closest, but I think this one might be the closest to the book with just minor variations, including a lack of Mitzi, which was fine.
She wasn't that integral to the book.
Yeah. I mean, she was barely a character. Just a few minor changes towards the end. It's kind of fun as a comic book person, especially a Batman fan growing up, seeing Adam West play the Galloping Gazelle. I thought that was nice. I always like whenever he comes in as a throwback. Some decent effects. I thought the sets were really good on this one for the most part. But yeah, I don't know that 44 minutes was necessary.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was fine. It stayed close to the book. I think kids would enjoy it. Again, I still go back to I don't feel this was Goosebumps though.
Yeah.
And so if you were looking for the kind of chills of Goosebumps, this wasn't it. This was a
Yeah.
comic book story through and through. Was there a
Yeah.
villain? Was there tension? Sure. Why not? Was it scary? Absolutely not. Was there anything that felt like I'm a little anxious? No.
Hmm.
I mean,
Right.
it was a superhero book.
Right.
It's like saying, what am I trying to compare it? It's like calling the X-Men a horror. Like
Right.
it's not. It's yes, there are elements of drama and tension, but there's nothing goosebumpsy about this.
No. I think the only thing sort of supernatural would be the disappearing building. But even that's not really
It's the
that
invisibility
much.
curtain.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just the overall lack of explanation of everything. Just, I don't know. Didn't totally jive for me. The one thing that I thought was kind of cool, as an addition from the book to the episode, was how sometimes it would show first person perspective for Skipper, and he would be seeing them like through a aha take on me sort of like comic book filter,
Hmm.
to let us know early on that he had been zapped by that comic book thing.
Thing. Because that's right. I think that is one element we left out. In the building, a yellow light scans him.
Yes.
And he feels a little awkward. And I think that later the mass mutant lets him know that when that process occurred, got scanned basically into the comic book or becoming a comic book character.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a neat idea. I just don't think it was necessarily handled right.
Because then that begs the question, if the human dies, does the comic book digitization, if that's a word, probably not a word,
Hmm.
does that continue on and still
Right.
exist through the comics?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
It's interesting.
But, mm-hmm.
Which also begs the question, did he always exist in the human world? And the comic books are a way to pull people into that world, almost like another dimension. And how many people has he done this to? Is he the first? Is he? I don't know, because the yellow light was already created.
Yeah.
So, like, how
Yeah.
many times has he done this?
The assumption is multiple times, I would guess. Every character that he's ever read in the book is someone that I guess grew up in Riverview Falls or whatever it was called. But
Maybe. Or because the building can appear and disappear, maybe it appears in different places, sucks people in, and then on it goes.
so it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it goes.
I don't know. It's an interesting notion. I don't think the book handled it all that well. And I think we've somehow stumbled into final thoughts already.
Final thoughts. Skip the TV episodes. Read the book if you really want to, I guess.
Well, it's weird because I feel like this is one that I hear about a lot. And I don't think I read this one when I was younger. I don't really have much of a memory of it if I did. But the book is very standout. So
Yeah, I mean, the cover is
that's what I
fun.
meant. Sorry.
It's Tim Jacobus style.
Hmm.
It's a pretty cover. It's fun. It's got action, more action than the book itself. And I'm not trying to be mean, but like it does. It has a bit
It's
more
true.
action than the book. And you can see Tim Jacobus' signature underneath the masked mutant. I can't say it. Underneath the masked mutant's foot, very kind of lightly and white in the ground.
Yes.
It's got the highlighting, the contrast highlighting Tim talked to us about, with like the orange highlights kind of popping the light on the
Hmm.
blue. We've got the pink in the background, which is the very, it's the building. And I mean, it's a very vibrant cover. This is one of those where I feel like the cover is better than the book. It's better
I
than the
agree.
story.
The character design is outstanding. It makes me wonder if Tim had a note to make the building pink, because if not, that's a really weird connection, because he often said he didn't have
He didn't
notes.
know. Yeah.
So
They must
I
have
would be
given him a
curious.
note, because
Yeah.
even the pink and yellow, I mean, I'm pretty sure they talked about the yellow in the book too.
Right.
So it is spot on. And I think, given where this has taken place in the cover versus in the book,
Hmm.
on the cover versus in the book, I think he got a note about a pink building, but not anything else. Because in the book, it's in an like kind of commercial, retail, residential area. Like it's a small town, but
Yes.
it's with other buildings. It's across
Hmm.
the street from a bus stop and a playground and houses and other offices and buildings. So it's a bustling area. And on the cover, it looks like it's isolated in the middle of nowhere with like a forest surrounding it. So
Almost like a prison containment area with the fence the way it is.
exactly. So, I mean, I think that they maybe told him about the pink building, if I had to guess, the pink and yellow building that's tall and weird looking, towering,
Yeah.
that very much matches the description you kind of think about when you read the book. But everything else surrounding it is completely different. So I think maybe
Right.
there's just like, hey, weird pink headquarters. Or
Make it
he got
yellow
like a
too.
small note, which makes me wonder maybe did he have to redo this?
Mm,
If
could
they're
be.
like, he did something different, and then they're like, "Oh, wait, throw this building in."
Or maybe this is one of those weird situations like we learned about with Say Cheese and Die, where RL had to throw some details in to match the cover.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Maybe he did just throw in the description of the building to match the cover.
right. Because these are very Jacobus colors, I feel like.
Mhm.
And his tree work, I feel like rivals Bob Ross. It's
Happy little trees.
it's gorgeous. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great cover, and it's always like stood out in my memory, even if I never read the book.
It's definitely a fantastic cover. And
Hmm.
like the attention to detail he gives the masked mutant.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about his muscles and the veins running down? Like, I
Hmm.
would love to see the reference photo. Did he
Right.
reference Arnold in this? Like, who in the world did he reference?
Right.
Because those are, even if you look at the back arm that's pulling away, that's in
Hmm.
the background, like, even that's got rippling muscles. And you just see a very small portion of it. It's like, wow, he
Yeah.
really went in on the textures, on like the texture of the cape. This
Hmm.
is pure superhero cover
It
through
is.
and through. Even though he's a super villain, like that is just the cape and the action and the motion of the character flying towards the reader. Like,
Yes.
I love it. Chef's
For a
kiss.
for a book that's full of stuff about superheroes, this is the most superhero part of it, I think. I almost wonder if he'd like took a photo of a football player or something, because it almost looks like the football player's running, towards the camera.
Holding the football.
Yeah, yeah.
Going to block someone. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
That's a linebacker? I don't know. Guys, words and things,
Yeah,
sports. It definitely looks like a football player.
yeah. Sports is not our thing. We're comic book kids.
Yeah. That's what we should be.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our next podcast, guys. The Crypt Keeper with the comic book kids.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh.
I like
I
that.
just pulled that out of nowhere. I'm so good. You're like, go to
No.
timeout. So overall, I mean, I'm okay with the book. I think it's fun. As a comic book kid, it's fun, but the pacing was so slow
Hmm.
up until kind of the absurd absurd ending. Let me try that
Yeah,
again. The pacing was super slow up until like the absurd ending, although I thought the final scene, the final moment, loved it. I think it was, at least if you're going to have a slow book, it was a fun way to end it with a comic book, comic book ink. I can't use words today. Bleeding out of him. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, that's fun. I could
Hmm.
visualize it, and I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you for the most part. I did like the setup of this, but it was just so slow and so, I don't know, like anything interesting got lost in the pacing. And like I want to give this book some credit because it is a cool concept, and it is one that I
Amazing
think,
book cover.
yeah, yeah, and it's something I would have ate up as a kid, I think, but it's not really Goosebumps, and
Nope.
that's where it falls. It's like Deep Trouble or the Mummy books. Like it's more
It's
an
an
action
adventure book.
adventure. Yes,
Yep.
yeah, and this is the most sci-fi action adventure book, I think, of all the ones we've done, anyways. But it's missing that Goosebumps charm.
If we're gonna call it Goosebumps and we're gonna put it in the Goosebumps canon, it needs more. It needs something to make it spooky or give it a bit more of the horror kiss. And in this case, it
Yes.
didn't have it. I think that RL could have had a different line,
Mm-hmm.
non Goosebumps, action adventure, something
Yeah.
where this could have gone in and
Yeah.
it would have fit perfectly. I think still pacing, he could have done better. But when you turn out a book a month, there's going to be some moments, I'm sure, hiccups that don't quite land. And in this
Hmm.
case, to your point, I agree. The world, the concept is fun. It's great. It just, the pacing didn't land for me.
Yeah. If this were the setup to a series of its own, I would love it, I think. Like,
Yeah.
pick up the pace a little bit, but
A lot of it.
yeah. As a, as a one and done though, it just doesn't quite land. So,
For 117 pages, the pacing has to be more aggressive, more
it's true.
assertive. The beat, the metronome of the story needs to be quicker.
Yeah.
And that's just because you only have such a small amount of time to pull in your 12-year-old reader
Hmm.
and really get them following the story and to the ending, like that final denouement.
Yeah.
It really needs to be paced better. We didn't get action and all of that excitement well until like over halfway, like toward it was basically the end of the book. And
Yeah.
12-year-olds don't have that patience. Like
Hmm.
slow burns are great for mature readers. We will like lean into slow burns, but for the attention span of a kid, mm,
Yeah. I agree.
you have to give that squirrel brain a little bit more to chew on.
That's
I say
it.
that with love.
Of course. No, I very much had a squirrel brain at that age, so I don't think this would have landed for me. Although I know a lot of people that it did, so that's the part where it's kind of like, I wish I had a little more of a warm approach to it, but I don't.
I don't either. I must still have a squirrel brain because it really took me a few passes to
Yeah.
force myself to get through this book. And it's not that it was poorly written in terms of description or the world or the concept or anything like that. Like that was all solid. It's just for me, it really was the pacing.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Well, we did
So,
it.
what is our next book, Gary?
Our next book is book number 26, My Hairiest Adventure.
Ooh, we got a little teen wolf here.
Yep, yep.
And this was December of 1994, a little bit of a longer read, which, we're talking about 122 pages versus 117. Doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're talking about that short amount of pages, that can make a very big difference.
It
So,
can. It really can.
very excited to read it.
Yeah, I this one again, I know the cover. I don't know if I've really spent time with the book, so I'll be curious to see if anything jumps out at me as we dive into it.
Yay. As we have a howling good time. Ow!
Ow!
Can I just go on a little tangent?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So I was recently having a conversation that RL really I can't decide if he bamboozled or was a genius when it came to the Goosebumps books because it feels more and more and more that we go along with these books. I'm finding very strong similarities to adult horror films. So horror films geared towards adults, not naughty horror films.
Right.
Um that have been restructured, reworked to be kid friendly or aimed towards the child demographic. So for example, just looking at this cover of My Hairiest Adventure, I mean, come on, man, that's Teen Wolf.
It is.
It's Teen Wolf. And I guarantee the story's probably something similar, maybe, but I might be surprised. But
Right.
given what we've already read, a lot of it is starting to be a bit reminiscent of horror films. We had Deep Blue, which is very like Jaws like ish. We have the bee one.
Mm-hmm.
The what is it? I don't know.
Why I'm afraid of bees?
Very much The Fly.
Yes, it is.
Like very close to The Fly. But it does seem like there are quite a few that are like, or Let's Get Invisible, very much flatliners.
Yes.
And I'm starting to wonder, like, as we read these, what horror film are these?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be fun to try to pinpoint for each episode.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking like maybe at the end of our season here, maybe we see how many we can kind of tie into horror films. Because if you think about it, it's not like, oh, it's a coincidence. The Fly was like predated the
Hmm.
B one like quite a bit. There's
Yes.
no, oh, there's an overlap there. Like coincidence. Same with Flatliners
Hmm.
and the B one. What is it called?
Why
Thing
I'm
I hate
afraid of
about
bees.
bees or why I
Why
hate
I'm
bees or
afraid.
something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the bee book.
The bee book.
Um, it's like, how often was he doing that?
It's
And some of
interesting.
it's so close that it's like, is that blurring the line between inspiration or just like really, bro?
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot more like original concept at the beginning, like the shadow zombies from the first book, or the plant Frankenstein, concept of the second book. Like we joked about those things, but they were original ideas. As much as anything is an original idea. Yeah, I mean, Stay Out of the Basement is a little bit Frankenstein. It is a little bit, insert sci-fi mad scientist movie here, but but yeah, like the concepts felt a little less on the nose than they're starting to. So
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those scenes where you can be inspired by or a little love note to, but some of it is like, huh.
yeah, yeah. With Why I'm Afraid of Bees, that one is very, very close.
That's not even close. I
Yeah,
mean, that's just swapped out for the. I mean, let's the Fly.
yeah,
He's trying to have a teleportation device. He goes to put himself through it. A bee gets in there accidentally, and now he's like meshed with, or I'm sorry, fly. And now he's meshed with the fly. What
yeah,
happens with I'm Afraid of Bees? He's trying to transport minds,
yeah,
and a bee gets in there. And now he's like the bee meshed with the bee, and it's like, oh
yeah.
come on, RL, do better.
uh, yeah, I mean, I feel like I've definitely seen, like, I don't want to say a decline, but like I've seen a difference in the
Mhm.
books as they've gone along and as they become month to month. Like it doesn't feel as inspired or as exciting, but that could also just be because we're reading, 2 books a month.
So aggressively.
Yeah, it could be on us. And I'm willing to take that
Oh,
out, but
no, I will not take the blame. I think if anything, it really helps us start to identify common themes, common
mhm,
concepts, but also maybe like a little bit of the bamboozling
a little bit.
because we are reading it so closely. We're given an advantage
Yeah,
that we didn't have as kids
it's
because we
true.
waited sometimes scholastic seasons before we got to read the next section. So
That's true. It's true. That's a fun note.
yeah, I was just curious about that because I'm like, huh, these are really starting to feel like, what did you do?
Yeah, right.
And some do feel like love notes where it's like, okay, I could see how that's inspired by Frankenstein. And others, I'm like, come on, man, that's just a fly. You switched it with the
Right.
fly to a bee. It's still a flying insect. Do better, RL. No, I'm just kidding. We love you, RL. Oh, you're our childhood.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Many, many, many decades ago.
Oh,
All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to Listeners Beware, a podcast about all things goosebumps. Are you looking for more spooky podcast content? Check out 3 Haunted Podcasts, where Ashley and friends talk about the paranormal, the unusual, and more.
and if you feel like getting retro, check me out over at Wax Nostalgic Network, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, drop us a line. We can be reached at listenersbewarepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
He'd love to hear from you.
Well, as long as it's nice.
Yeah, true. Keep that negative to yourself. Until next time.
I can finally insert this because it's what I wanted to say at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
I saw you pause when I said insert this. I knew where that was going.
I didn't say it. That's what she said. Okay. Anyways.
Shit, now I just opened a marijuana ad. Why is that on the Goosebumps wiki? Okay.
I live off of the Goosebumps wiki.
Yeah, me too.
Fun fact, readers, I don't actually read the books. I just look at the wiki.
You expand on the wiki so well.
Thanks so much.
You're really good at predicting exactly what happens in the book.
It's called improvising.
Damn. You should take the show on the road.
Yeah, I actually read the books, unfortunately. Some of these I wish I hadn't.
I know. This would be a great wiki book.
Oh boy.